What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your lovely co-host ZD in the building with CJ. We coming at you guys live, man. It's on March 23rd. We're doing the All NBA teams today, man. We got our All NBA third team today. We're going to be rolling them out over the next few episodes, so you guys are going to hear our opinions on the top 15 players in the NBA. We got to talk about the Mavs. We got to talk about the Raptors today. But CJ, how are you doing, man? We got a little special surprise. Obviously, the 65 games are impacting these teams, but how are you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. Had a little bit of technical difficulties right before we started again, but we got it all figured out. I'm doing good though. Like I told you before in the first, or you didn't even hear me, but I caught an L in Dynasty, so it is what it is.
Yes.
Lost in the semis to your brother Tristan.
We're done with that.
We're done with that, man. No more Dynasty talk. We'll talk about the championship game, of course, when it gets to that point. But sucks. Did my best, just was better than me, and I'm excited though. I was telling you before we hopped on the pod to record. Third team, like our NBA team, all NBA teams right now in general, because of this 65 game rule, and a lot of the players are getting injured at the wrong time, and it might affect what their end up being. So kind of a little tricky for us to figure it out. Obviously, we're gonna show respect for the players that deserve to be on the list regardless of the games, but we're also trying to think of who else is going to get moved up, potentially not even be on a list because of it. But
good point.
Was talking to you about it, for a little while. It was pretty tough, but I think we got a good list for the most part. Third team was a little tricky trying to figure out, and I'm excited, bro. Thunder have been catching dubs, can't complain. I'm ready to chop it up with you.
Yeah, I'll go straight in. Rockets, Luka 40-60. He had 100 points in 24 hours. Yep. Cool, bro. We caught y'all. We caught Houston twice. We got the tiebreaker. This is it, bro. I think I wanted to take some time to just say I appreciate JJ Redick, bro, because I think me and you had our text thread. We're like, he's got to be top 4 coach of the year at this point, right? But yeah, I guess we can go to Miami. I feel like Houston, Luka Doncic, we started in the fourth, ended up going crazy, had a real big moment against Jabari Smith Jr., stepping back. Mike Breen with the classic bang. That put us up about 8, I think I want to say, or it's like 117 to 111. I forget the exact score. Point is I think that was Luka Doncic's MVP moment. I don't want to waste any of you guys' time. We know he's now, I think, second in the MVP ladder, right?
Yep.
That came out. It came out
a few days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago, whatever the case may be. But that back-to-back versus Miami, bro, and seeing how he performed in that game, scoring 60 points. Obviously, Bam Adebayo just recently put up that 83-point performance. But Luka Doncic, bro, obviously the true offensive genius at this point in his career, bro. He's proven that pretty much anytime he's in the lineup and he's healthy, he's going to be able to do some damage. I think we jumped out to let's see. I want to make sure I get the game flow right. Let's see. I think LeBron had 19. He had a triple-double in this game too, bro. 19, 15, and 10. You're a little glitched on my end. Am I glitched on yours?
No, you look good.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah,
okay, good. As long as it's recorded for you, bro.
Yeah, we look good.
Anyways, yeah, okay, good. 19, 10, and 15. Bro had 15 rebounds at age 41, which is kind of crazy. He ended up, I think he's the oldest player. I think him and Jason Kidd share this. But he is older than Jason Kidd. He's the oldest player to put up a triple-double. Obviously, LeBron James has been aging like fine wine. I wanted to give him a shout out as well. He's taken on this tertiary role a lot better than expected, bro. Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic are the main focal points of the offense. And we've seen LeBron shift his mentality towards, you know what? Let me try to help out my squad where I can get in. That means diving on basketballs, setting screens, and diving to the basket and catching lobs. I think he had 6 dunks in that Miami game. And didn't want to bring this up. This could be LeBron's last game in Miami. We don't know. That's yet to be foreseen. But I don't know, bro. Luka Doncic, the 60 piece, it's like it's hard to really give anybody else a star for that game because he was truly masterful, bro. And he got it within the flow of the offense. I think he hit 15 free throws, but he didn't. He was hitting crazy shots on Davion Mitchell, bro. In the fourth quarter, he was draped all in the corner. This boy, I mean, pull up, hit a three, hit that hoe. Like he was feeling himself, bro. And I'm just really, really thankful for the fact that our offense is starting to hum. You guys have come on this podcast. You've heard me speak about it the last few times, but I think we're still top 3 in offensive rating over the last 5 games. We've still been scoring at a really, really elite level. And it happened again in Miami where, you know, Miami's number 1 in pace. They're going to score points. We were able to combat that. These 2 wins, Miami and Houston, really, I feel like just shifted the season and its momentum because Austin Reeves chipped in 18 versus Miami. You know, Adebayo did pretty well for them, and I think Hero did too, but they just didn't have enough to end up beating us in that game. The game against the Magic, though, bro, Luke Kennard, game winner. We've had a lot of close games come down to the wire, clutch games, a.k.a. within less than 5 minutes left. Specifically that play, I think it was out of bounds. Marcus Smart was inbounding the ball. Just previously to that play, LeBron James actually got fouled. It was in the last 2-minute report, but the whistle was not blown. Paolo blocked him, which made the ball go out of bounds. JJ called our last timeout, drew up this beautiful play where LeBron dove to the basket. Marcus Smart was inbounding. We had Luka at the top of the key, acting as a decoy because honestly, I think our goal, we were only down 2 at this time. Our goal was to tie. We were not going for the win. But the fact that Luke Kennard popped open, LeBron dove to the basket, which drew Bane and Paolo to him. Marcus Smart found Luke Kennard, pulled up the shooting sleeve and hit that game winner for us, bro. And bang. And Lakers have been the best clutch team over the last month. I think that's why we've been winning so many of these games. I mean, I've been jumping to the fourth quarter because that's where we've been doing most of our damage. You know, Luka Doncic, obviously, first quarter, he's leading the league in scoring in the first quarter. He starts fast. But as the game progresses, I feel like we really come together as a squad, and we ended up getting these W's at the end of the games. And all 3, DeAndre Ayton showed up big time. We know he's been kind of a ghost of the season at times, but I would argue over the last 10 games, he's been one of our most impactful players, just especially on the offensive glass and defensively too, but just setting great screens and contributing. We ranked top 3 in true shooting percentage over the last 10 games. You know, Doncic, I think, scored 33 in that game versus the Magic. Reeves chipped in 26. He had a little flurry in the third quarter where he scored 8-9 straight himself, just to give us a little bit of a cushion. You know, Orlando was up in the fourth quarter, actually, at one point. We had to claw our way back once again, but we were able to do that. Right now, we are playing Detroit with a couple minutes left. We're down 5 right now, so that winning streak looks to be in a little bit of jeopardy. I'll have to take a peek at the end of this podcast before we head on up out of here just to see that final, and then I'll watch the game after that. But yeah, the 60 piece from Luka Doncic for me has been the highlight of these last 3 games. Just getting that in Miami with the LeBron triple-double, winning in that fashion too, just taking over at the end of the game. It's just such a classic performance. So I wanted to shout out Luka Doncic. One of the storylines of the week that I'm keeping my eye on for Wednesday is just him versus Shea and what that ends up looking like, man, because we put something out on 3-man and, you know, I'll make the case for Luka Doncic. You know, he hasn't won an MVP yet. So there's that. Yeah. I think he's had to deal with Nikola Jokic and Shea, you know, Biden at his heel, whatever the case may be. And I think this is the year out of all of the years that I've seen him play that he has the best chance to win, just given the fact that, you know, we've played so well at the end of one of the best teams in the entire league over the last month or so. And so I think it's given Luka a clear pathway to win. And it would really, it would make me happy because I obviously had Shea winning, but you had Luka winning. So if it goes to a Laker, I'm not going to be complaining, but I think that MVP battle is going to be one to remember. So I wanted to make it quick. I just think we won all of these games in the fourth quarter again with our clutch play. Like I said, the Luka's 60 pieces, the highlight, one of the highlights of the season.
100%. I was just about to say that, bro. Like,
yeah,
it's insane, bro. I was about to say the way he's been playing, he's looking like how he was in Dallas. Just taking over moments, taking over games. Like, we know, like, Luka could do that. I just feel like we haven't seen that for a consistent stretch. and the team clicking on all cylinders, like it's a perfect timing. Like what he did in Miami, bro, was insane. Just like took over the game.
Oh man,
hitting the crazy shots
and defensively too. I think he's
Yeah.
averaging 4 or 5 steals over the last 3 games.
3 games, yeah.
We're playing really
good.
Yeah, we're playing
really
great
good basketball,
on the
bro.
defensive end, and you got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
What you gonna
just
say?
that the reason why I had him as like the preseason NBA or the MVP, winner, what is because of what he's been able to show us these past couple of weeks. Just because if the Lakers could go on a winning streak, they could get hot at the right time. I always say I've been telling you this, and I'll just reiterate it. Luka's gonna put up the numbers. That's not the issue. It's just how good is his team gonna be, and obviously y'all are one of the best teams in the top 3 best teams in the West right now. So I think that kind of speaks for itself,
Yeah, and the one flaw, like you could say, is like, oh, he talks to the refs and the techs and the Bataze incident where we had, he ended up getting that tech rescinded or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. That could be a damper on his MVP case or whatever. But I'd argue like Luka's not Luka without that. So I think it would be more of a worry because I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't like that. I think I'd be more worried if he wasn't talking to the refs, if he wasn't getting hyped up, because that means that something's going on. But this is Luka Doncic. He's always been that way. Mm-hmm. I think in the playoffs too, I just truly believe in my heart, bro, because I know he's a playoff riser as well. Like if we have him and he's playing at this level, I think we could beat the only team we can't beat is the Thunder. Yeah, I think we could beat the Spurs, the Rockets, the Nuggets.
Yep.
All of those guys if we can play like this. So just really, really good stuff from the Lakers. I'm not gonna bore people with like a bunch of game analysis or whatever. Just watch Luka, bro.
Yeah. No, yeah, watch it. He's incredible. He's one of the best players that I've been able to see within the past, couple years, and just seeing what he's been able to do every year. Like I hated seeing it on the Mavs, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, because we went against him. I saw it in the flesh. He took over that game and defeated us in the semifinals 2 years ago. But just seeing what he can be,
we were both there.
We were both there, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Yeah. So that was crazy. But no, that was an incredible game, bro. It's just seeing what Luka's been able to do. But it's I don't want to sound like the same old broken record like I always say, but Thunder been able to keep stacking up the dubs. We're on our road stretch right now on the Eastern Conference. We went against the Brooklyn Nets, and that game really wasn't much of a game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Think we only allowed them to score 24 points in the first half.
In the first half.
Yep. Not quarter, half. So think it's just. I don't really have much to say about that game, bro. I was about to say it was kind of just one of the, like, they weren't making anything. They were down MPJ. A lot of their players are still young, developing. It's kind of Yegor's out. It was just one of those games we kind of just handled business. This next game, though, against the Wizards, this was a huge game for me personally because I needed Shea to go off for my dynasty hopes and dreams, but he did his thing. He dropped a 40 bomb. This game was pretty close up until the beginning of the fourth quarter. That was really when we, extended the lead. This is also whenever AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams got ejected as well. I think who was the other? Cason Wallace. So 3 of our players got ejected. I think that's really when the game changed. It took a long time to really figure out who was going to be ejected, what's going to happen to the players. Is it a flagrant 1? Is it a flagrant 2? Like, I felt like I was waiting like 20, 30 minutes, bro. It was a weird, yeah. So it was weird. So you seeing that, you would expect it to kind of mess up the rhythm. We had been dominating, or not dominating, but we kind of went on a run up to that point. So it was kind of the momentum was shifting in our favor. Then that happened, and then going into right after that happens, you're kind of like, all right, what's gonna happen next? I think that's really when we locked in and we really started to, do what we usually do. iHeart had an incredible game. I think he had 20 rebounds, 10 assists. He was 1 shot off of a triple-double. Should have let him at least go in there and get that, just cause. But, we didn't, but we were able to get this dub. But up to the third quarter, bro, they were competing. Like, this is probably one of the best games I've seen from the Wizards, and we haven't really said that
yes, sir.
that much. You know what I mean? Like they really balled out. They were making every single three, bro. Like it seemed like any time they shot a three, they were making it. And I think that Bilal was playing incredible. Yeah, there was everyone. That game was it was really that scuffle that really switched it up. I feel like that was really when we saw what these teams are made of. And of course, like we talk about it a lot. We don't want to see that, but I think the fact when you do see that, it just shows how passionate you are about the game. And obviously, we got a target on our back throughout the all season. So, we're kind of already, being hunted. So if stuff like that happens, we're not going to back down. And I think it just kind of goes to show the type of team that we have. We're all the players are trying to stick up for each other. We got each other's back. So I think that was dope for me to see. I don't want to see my players get ejected, but the fact that Shea was still able to respond to that and, still take over the game and kind of, put the team on his back, I think it just kind of goes to show the season that he's been having and whenever he's on the court, what he can provide for us. But, the score, if you look at the box score, it looked like we blew them out. But literally the fourth quarter is when we took over. I think we only allowed them to score 15 points in the fourth quarter. So that's really when we extended that lead. Jared McCain went crazy. Like I said, obviously Shea with the 40 piece. Awesome Chet 18, 10, and 2 blocks. AJ Mitchell up to the point he got ejected. He was 6 for 10 with 14 points. So he was doing great. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what this schedule. Obviously, it's not the toughest part of our schedule, but anytime we come to an arena, I think we saw it with this Wizards game. People are going to show up. They're going to compete regardless of what's going on. So it's interesting. 2 dubs, can't complain.
Wizards and Nets are not the greatest. The Thunder are the most dominant team in the NBA. I was talking about the Celtics. I don't know if you heard me when I was talking about that, or the audience, but those are the 2 teams that I believe, Eastern and Western conferences obviously split. Those are the 2 most championship-ready teams, you could say. I think Detroit has to prove themselves still. And then the Knicks just have bad luck, it seems. Like, I don't know if they'll ever win a championship in my lifetime. We'll see. Obviously, they got the team to do it right now. Knicks fans don't hate on me, but bro, the Thunder are so dominant right now, and we've seen Jared McCain and AJ Mitchell and Caruso and all these guys step up. So I get Wizards and Nets are not the most competitive, but we still got to take every W that we can. So I think I've been trying to take away some interesting things from the Thunder. I'm trying to see how they play these cupcake teams because I want to see if they take them serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think after the performance that the Wizards, showed us, like that game, we had to take that team serious. Obviously they've been bottom of the league for the whole season pretty much, but moments like that where they're playing, they're at home, they're in DC, putting on for the city. We had to show them. We had to let them know what's up, So
there you go.
It was like you said. It's a easy dub essentially, but this could have went the other way, and I could be talking about a loss right now. So, the fact that we actually locked in, we're able to get this dub, just moves us to 56-15, bro. I think we're on a 11-game win streak, I believe.
Y'all are on a heater. Y'all are gonna be the first team to 60.
Yeah.
So
first team to 50 now.
That.
Hopefully, the first team to 60. Season highlights just stacking up, brother.
Yeah, there you go. I was about to say the Thunder are the Thunder, but CJ, I think we'll save the games for later. I want to talk about the 65 game limit now and then go into the all NBA team so it makes sense for people. Storylines of the week, guys. Obviously, we got a couple. We'll kind of go around the horn a little bit, but should the NBA get rid of the 65 games limit, man? Well, here we are. The 65 game limit is hindering NBA awards and all NBA teams. The question now remains, does the NBA need to get rid of it entirely? Well, that's a 2-sided question. Here's why. The NBA implemented the 65 game rule 2 years ago to curb the injury epidemic and load management. The thing with that stance is it's not load management that is keeping guys out of games. It's been real and viable injuries that truly impact the players of our game. The most recent example is with Cade Cunningham's collapsed lung, which is extremely rare and has only happened 4 times since the NBA started tracking player injuries. CJ McCollum twice, Gerald Wallace, and Terrence Jones. You remember Terrence Jones, the Rockets, the fresh cut. TJ. Those are the only 4 documented. Yeah, those are the only 4 documented cases in the NBA, and obviously now Cade. But this injury will cause Cunningham to miss All NBA completely due to the 65 games rule. Cunningham has played in 61 games this season and only needs 4 more to be eligible for the NBA awards and All NBA teams. And it looks like he'll miss that mark. Tyrese Maxey and Anthony Edwards are another pair of superstars that may be impacted by the 65 game rule this year. Maxey has sustained a grade 1 pinky sprain and will be reevaluated in 2 weeks from today, which will most likely end his regular season. I think Maxey played in 61 games as well before sustaining this injury, kind of like Cunningham. Edwards, on the other hand, has a sprained knee and will also be reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks. Edwards could return, but he's only appeared in 58 games this season, so he needs to return with at least 7 games left. Regardless, Three Man Weave thinks players like Ant-Man, Cunningham, Maxey, Kawhi Leonard as well should be on All NBA teams. Hopefully the league can review this policy. That's our take on it. I know, CJ, you agree, but speaking to like people who may not know about this, I think this has impacted the award season, how load management has been managed, obviously, and then these All NBA teams. I think it's gotten taken out of context to the point where me and you are really struggling to come up with 15 players to make our All NBA teams. So I think it goes to show you how difficult the NBA has made it now to be seen as somebody who deserves incentive. I think when they first implemented it, it was for load management as well, like I said a minute or two ago. But I don't think that's what's going on with our players right now. I genuinely believe we're having real injuries. Guys are actually out because they're hurt. They're not out because they're sitting, which is a different thing. So again, a collapsed lung, that has nothing to do with load management, right? Like obviously, Cade was diving on a basketball. I think it happened against the Wizards too. I think Trey Johnson landed on it weird, and then that ended up collapsing his lung, which is a really, really big deal. It's definitely a huge medical emergency. My point is, I think it's taken away from guys like a Cade or a Leonard who have had great seasons who may not end up getting to 65 games. I think, we'll speak on it during the All NBA third team, so it kind of makes sense. But I feel like there are some measures the NBA can take to make this rule better. I'm not a fan of it anymore. I think I was it when it first, and that's the beautiful thing about being a human. You can change your mind. But I think when it was first happening, it made a little bit more sense just because we did have so many issues with load management. But now the NBA is taxing teams. The Jazz and the Pacers got fined this season for the load management thing. I just feel like a lot of teams now are scared to do that. So I now think it's transitioned into a real issue for the NBA because guys are getting hurt. They're not choosing to sit. Guys are actually trying to play 65 games now to get the incentives that they want in their contract, to get extra money, whatever the case may be. I just think it hurts the game, bro, if we're being honest. When you look at these lists in history, for somebody who hasn't been following the NBA, they don't know about the 65 game limit. So they're just going to see a random guy on the third team who probably shouldn't be on the third team. And I think that's going to, from a fan's perspective, I think that matters. I know from a league perspective, they don't really probably care because that's the rule they implemented. But I think from a fan perspective, this rule is it's definitely hurt our league a lot, bro. And it's unfortunate because a lot of guys may not get the recognition they deserve just based off the fact that they're not going to get 65 games, to put it simply. So I think that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're pretty similar the way we feel about it. I feel like when it first came up, when it first happened, that was a problem. You were seeing the best players in the league, stars of this league, sitting out games because of load management, and that was an issue. So I get wanting to change it, but I think there needs to be something to where you can reconcile it. And for Cade, perfect example.
Exactly.
Incredible season. Obviously putting the Pistons in one of the greatest spots they've been in a long time for their franchise. Getting a collapsed lung isn't a load management thing. It's not him just wanting to get healthy for the playoffs. This is like an actual medical thing that he's going to miss a lot of time and potentially going into the playoffs as well. So it's not something to where he's just trying to get, save his energy for the playoffs to make a deep run in it. This is an actual injury that he had no control over, which a lot of injuries are. But I think there needs to be something to where we could, get on a level to where like he should be on an all NBA team. Let's be honest. Him, Maxi, Kawhi.
Yeah,
You said the
yeah,
players that are kind of in the even
exactly.
Jokic. Jokic could get a sprained ankle and miss 3 games and miss
Wemby, yeah,
Wemby. Like even Shea, he's in the convert. You know what I mean? So like these players, it like you say, it does a disservice to the league when you as a fan, as someone that just is looking at, oh, who made third team All NBA 2025, 2026 season. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay. Well, they must have been killing. And then you don't really look into the context and realize why each player made it or
exactly.
didn't make it. It's kind of hard to think about that. You're not going to know that off the top of your head if you're just looking in the history book. So I'm right there with you, bro. I'm the same way. When it first started, I agree. Like, I thought it was a great thing because we just saw the LeBrons, the Steph Currys, the Giannis's, Jokic, like trying to just get ready for the playoffs because that's essentially what you're wanting to play for. But it's looking like you said, the league is, hammering on those teams that are trying to tank, that are sitting their players. So it's something that not everyone's willing to do at this point. And if you are, then you're probably going to get fined. But more than likely, these guys
Yeah,
are going to want to play 65 games so they can get the incentives, so they can get these awards and get, whatever extension on their contracts. Now you're eligible for a max or
exactly.
whatever it is. So a lot of things that it sucks because I think it does do a service to the league because we know the players that should be on this list. We've been watching it all season. I think anybody who really has been keeping up with the game knows that Cade, Kawhi, Maxi, these type of play, Wemby, Jokic, like these players
And
all
yeah,
and like all these players deserve to be on a list. And I think we just need to,
it's a great
if you're
point.
within 5 games or something, if you just get injured and miss the whole season or miss 30, 40 games, then that's understandable. You shouldn't be on the list. But if you barely miss the game by 5 to 10 games, I think there needs to be a little bit of leeway, and hopefully we'll get to that point. But now, as of right now, you have to play 65 games in order to get these awards. So, it sucks. Well, like you were just saying, these All NBA teams are pretty tough, and more than likely, some of these players that we have not on our third team, but second team, potentially first team, might not even make an All NBA team at the end of the season, and
Yeah, you're gonna have to
they
bump
deserve
them
it.
up.
Yeah,
We
someone's
talked
gonna have
about
to
it.
move up. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And I think this is a perfect transition into the All NBA third team because this is the hardest list CJ and I have had to come up with probably in the last couple years. I spent like an hour or two at the beginning of the day thinking about this, just going through the games played and who is going to be on the All NBA third team. But award season has changed now due to the 65 games limit, and I think the NBA has implemented certain measures to change that and make it easier for guys to play these games. Obviously, a game's played, I think you got to play at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the game. I'm not exactly sure what the specific number is. So it can kind of be a hidden metric. Just to put a bow on that conversation, games
Mm-hmm.
played, I don't know if it's like we've seen McCall Bridges go out, foul with 30 seconds left, and then come out for his streak. So it's like,
Yeah,
what is a game played? And that's a whole other
yeah.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, man, top 15 players in the NBA. We got 3 lists. We're starting with the third team. We'll move our way to the first. I'm going to start with Jalen Brunson. Got him at the 15th spot. Jalen Brunson has been as cool as can be this season, leading the Knicks to a 47-25 record. It's good for third in the East right now. Brunson is averaging 26 points per game, which ranks 9th in the NBA, and 6.6 assists per game, which is 17th in the NBA, which is a credit to his playmaking ability. Brunson's numbers are down from last season. I think he was averaging a little bit more assists in the assist category. I think he was averaging almost 8 assists per game last year. So they're a little bit down. But that doesn't exclude the fact that he's still a top 15 player in the NBA today. We spoke about him at length before we got on the podcast. I don't know if he's on second team this season just because he's had a pretty quiet month over the last month or so. That might have changed if he was cooking and, he was getting to 50 or whatever the case may be. But I just think he's been a little bit more quiet in the background, making sure McCall Bridges, Cat, OG, they're all fed and they feel like they're getting ready for the playoffs, which is why I have him on my third team. I feel like he's somebody who could jump up depending on who gets hurt, whatever. But as of right now, I got Jalen Brunson in my 15 spot. For the last spot on the third team. So he'd be my first one out.
Yeah, that's I'm right there. I don't have Brunson and my third team to be fair, but that was who I was in the conversation of to put in the third team or potentially moving up to the second team. For my 15th spot, I ended up putting Devin Booker, bro. I think Devin Booker's been having an incredible season. This is one of the when we were going through the list for if we're looking through the history book, seeing what all NBA teams are made out of, right? It's usually one of the best teams in the league. Usually has two players. Usually, but usually, I was going through it, top teams in the West. I went through this with ZD already. Thunder, obviously, Shea is gonna be first team. Spoiler alert for the future episodes. Chet is probably the next person up, but personally, as a Thunder fan, I still don't even think he's in that conversation yet. I think he's great. I just don't know if he's at the third team level yet, personally. And I'm a Thunder fan, so that kind of cancels that out. And then second, Spurs, obviously Wemby, another person that spoiler alert, sorry. But who else on that roster? No one else good enough to me to make another All-NBA team. Third, Lakers, y'all have kind of got hit with injury bug. So that kind of cancels y'all out. And then fourth is the Nuggets, and we'll get into those players. I have someone on the other or on someone else on this roster that is on the third team All NBA. But I say all that to say I was looking at the standings, seeing how well that the Suns have done this year, 40 and 32. Their expectations that they had coming into this season, we expected them to probably be in the play-in at best, you know what I mean? And the fact that they are in the conversation,
that's generous.
The playoff, hunt says a lot. And I think obviously what Devin Booker's been doing, he's been incredible. I mean, nothing that's gonna, jump off of the page. It's not like he's averaging 39 and 7, but 25, 4 and 6 on 45% field goal shooting from the field. I think it's just personally the way that I look at the All NBA teams. We gotta acknowledge the players that had what you were expected to be coming into the season and how you have performed up to this point of the year. I think we got to give the nod to Devin Booker personally, just what he's been able to do for the Suns. He's probably going to get the game requirements. I think he still needs to get like 5-6 more games around that. So he can't really miss that much time, but I think he was the last spot for me that I was contemplating and figuring out who is the spot going to be. Cause we have like Kat, we have, Paolo, we have, Sengun, Harden, there's a lot of players that it was really hard for me to build this, but I think I'm going with my guy. I gotta go with Devin Booker, man. So shout out to D-Book.
Phoenix.
Hopefully,
I think Phoenix fans, dude, they're happy with that. I think you're speaking for a lot of those fans over there. So I think Devin Booker deserves the nod, man. He's been truly impenetrable. He's been somebody who's been available. I mean, obviously he hasn't played every single game, but he's been there. He's been there more than Jalen Green has, and really contributing at a high level. He's probably the first man out for me. We spoke about it more, bro. Like, I don't know. He probably should be on my list, but he is not. Spoiler alert. But the next guy on my list, this is the 14th best player in the NBA right now, is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray will make his first All-NBA team if he can continue his great year. He's already played 67 games this season, which means he's clear of the 65 games rule, which we were just talking about. Murray is averaging a career high 25 points per game on 48% shooting, while also dishing out 7 assists per game, which ranks 8th in the NBA at the time. Clearly, this has been Murray's best season to date in his career, which is a rarity for a player in season 10. And I feel like that's a key caveat there, because a lot of players don't have these types of performances this late into their career. Obviously, we've grown used to seeing that with LeBron and Kevin Durant and all these like aliens, Steph Curry. Jamal Murray, though, bro, is right there with those types of guys in terms of, especially as a playoff riser, right? Somebody who 100%. Always steps up big in the playoffs. But for me, he's played well enough to earn himself an All NBA third team spot. It'll be his first All NBA selection of his career, and I think he's very deserving.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I think this is kind of where we have the similar players. Yep. The only one that I kind of was iffy on was that last spot, but from this point on, just, spoiler alert for y'all, we do have the same players. But I just kind of reiterating what ZD said, the fact that this is a season where Jamal Murray, even in the absence of Jokic, because he did miss 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was, a month. He stepped up, man. He's been incredible. What he's been able to do for them, be in the consistent offense. I think it's not that we didn't know that this is a player that he could be. It's just he never did it for a full season. So the fact that he has performed to the same level for pretty much a full calendar season up to this point, I think we got to give him the nod. Obviously, they're one of the best teams in the West. They got Jokic on there, but he's been a perfect running mate, and that's probably one of the best dynamic duos that we got in this league, just as a offensive duo, scoring duo. But I'm right there with you, bro, Jamal Murray. And then my next spot, like I said, we have the same. I also had Jamal Murray, so my team as of right now is Book and Murray for the 13th spot. In the best player, the 13th best player in the league, in my eyes, and ZD's eyes as well. Shout out to that young bull in Atlanta, bro, Jalen Johnson.
Atlanta,
Jalen Johnson is one of two players in the NBA averaging 25, 10, and 5 on the year. Jokic and Johnson, that's elite company to be in. Johnson has been a superstar this year, becoming a first-time All-Star and leading the Hawks to a 39-32 record, good for 6th in the Eastern Conference. Johnson is averaging career highs across the board, and he's continued to increase his points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game each year he's been in the league. I think he deserves this spot, clearly, but just what he's been able to do since they have bought into him being the franchise player. I think it kind of, we saw what he was doing whenever Trae Young was injured when he played for the Hawks, obviously. And then I think when they traded Trae and they kind of gave him the keys to the team, the fact that he was still able to produce at this level, it just goes to show the type of player that he is and the type of season he's been able to have. Like we said, the only other player to average those numbers is Jokic and Jalen Johnson. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. We got to give a nod to the youngin out in Atlanta, bro. He has the keys to the franchise, and I'm excited to see what he ends up doing for them, bro. I think he's an incredible talent. He's only going to get better. And the team, if they can build it around him, they're going to be dangerous, bro. Because if he can develop a jump shot at a consistent level, it's gonna be scary for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference, bro. So,
hey, bro, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the one flaw in his game, right? Is that jump shot. But outside of that, there is no flaws. He's one of the best facilitators at his position. Like you just said, the stat with Jokic is more than enough for me to be on a third team. The fact that the Hawks are decent as well. They used to suck. They're ending up looking like, I think we had predicted they would be okay when they had Porzingis and all those other dudes at the beginning of the year. Looks like they'll end up getting to 40 wins, which is CJ, you remember the last time they did that?
Was it the year that they went to the conference finals?
It is. Thank goodness. You're thinking, it is.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't remember the year exactly. Was that 2021?
21. Yes, sir. And John Collins. 21. That's a good little bit of trivia there. I think Jalen Johnson leading them to 40 wins. Got to give it to him, man. He's the 13th best player in the NBA, and at 25, 10, and 5, bro, the stats just speak for itself. So I think you did a good job of explaining that. But next dude on this list, man, 12th best guy in the NBA. It's none other than Donnie Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell has been dynamite all year. Mitchell is averaging a near career high in points per game this season with 28 points per game. I think he averaged 28.3 points per game in 2022. So that's his career high. He's only like 0.3 points off. He's also shooting 48% from the floor and 37% from three. As long as he can remain healthy, man, 62 games played as of right now, Donovan Mitchell will have another All-NBA selection on his resume. He's made first team I think he made first team last year, and then he made second team 2 years ago. So he's no stranger to this list. He's somebody who, again, the Cavs are one of the best teams in the East. I expected a little more from them, but the James Harden trade changes the outlook on the season. And Donovan Mitchell has been a consistent scorer all year for them. Easily been far and away their best player, been the most available. He's also top 10 in clutch scoring this season, which is another thing that's trademarked of Donovan Mitchell, just clutch playoff performer, man. So, yeah, I like him here. I think he has been, you might be listening to this and be like, why is he on second team? Well, one of the dude above him, I think, has a better case to be on second team All-NBA than Donovan Mitchell has at this point of the season. But I do want to give credit to him, man. He's just been the only consistent thing in Cleveland since LeBron left. Similar to Bron, I think he's been just that consistent offensive force that they've needed, bro. So shout out to Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I got Donovan Mitchell right there too, as well, bro. I feel like like you said, he has been really the only player on the Cavs to be healthy. He's missed time, obviously, but like he's been the most consistent player. They've missed Mobley, they missed Allen, obviously Darius Garland when he was on the team. Everyone has been injured, but Donovan Mitchell could go out there with the second unit and still have you competing in the game. So I think that, goes to show the type of player that he is. Obviously, like you said, averaging 28 points per game. It says enough, you know what I mean, on the roster that he's had pretty much the whole year. He's the type of player that no matter what the situation is in a game, like as long as you got him on the court, you're competing. And I think that's something that the Cavs, like you said, have not had since LeBron. So the fact that he went to Cleveland, it just goes to show, bro, like that, they got a second hope, burst of life for their franchise. Yeah, and exactly. I think what he's been able to provide for them, besides the playoff series and this and that, it hasn't been because of Donovan Mitchell. He's been performing. He's been putting the team on his back every single time. It's just, the roster and the other players on the team, the secondary players that, have not been able to produce. But Donovan Mitchell, we know what he can do. And like you said, one of the best playoff risers that we have in this league. So like you said, definitely could be in the conversation for the second team. But I think this next guy has more of a case to be on that second team All-NBA, and that is the one and only Kevin Durant. KD is still KD, even in year 18. Kevin Durant is averaging 25 points per game on almost 50, 40, 90 splits, 88 from the line. So, right, if he misses it, it's going to be barely.
There you go. Barely.
Houston has also ranked 10th in the NBA in offense rating, in large part thanks to KD's vintage performance. Durant also passed Michael Jordan for fifth on the all-time scoring list. Shout out to KD. Do we need to say more? Honestly.
Yeah.
Durant has also been extremely durable this season, already playing 67 games, clearing the worry about the 65-game limit. That was the one thing that I was probably going to say, because I feel like we talk about his scoring, obviously top 5 in the NBA. Hey, I just want to say how lucky we are to be witnessing the type of hoops that we have been for the last, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like we've seen legendary players that I don't even think we really understand it in this moment. But looking back at it, we're going to realize how good we had it. But side tangent, sorry. I wanted to bring up the consistency that we've had from Kevin Durant, his health. He's been durable. I think is he most minutes or second most minutes played, I think, this season per game? It's like some crazy stuff that you should not, as in your 18th season this year, push almost 40 doing this type of stuff.
Man.
That's what I've been most impressed. Unreal. Because I think we knew what we were going to get on the offensive side of the ball. We knew he's going to be an offensive hub, lead, top 10 in scoring, this and that. But for me, it's the fact that, we were talking about it, the 65-game limit, right? Who's going to make the team, who's not, who's going to get moved up, who isn't even going to be on the team. Durant doesn't have to even worry about that. So he's one of those players to where he can easily get bumped up to a second team, depending on who's all these other injuries and who isn't going to make, our second team All NBA just because of injuries.
Yeah,
But
right.
that was probably the main thing I was going to bring up. It's KD, bro.
Yes.
I feel like we don't really
It's
have
KD.
to say much. But
it's KD.
You know, we gotta show respect, bro. Shout out to KD, top 5 all scoring, and it's only gonna, you know, try to get up that ladder. So
yeah, dude, and I think you did a great job of explaining the durability, bro. I just think Kevin Durant he's been hindered by injuries. You know, he had that freak accident, or he slipped when he was playing with Phoenix, and he was out for a month or something. He's just always has something coming up. But this season has been so brilliant from a durable perspective. So of course you're going to get the stats and that stuff to go along with it, which is why Kevin Durant has to be on the second team. I think he's performed at an extremely high level. Obviously, Houston's still top 6 in the West. Ime's coached his ass off this year, and he's had to be the focal point of the offense, even being the point guard at times, because Reed Shepherd and Amen Thompson are not always viable options there. I think Kevin Durant has really shown us that, you know, age is just a number, bro. If LeBron didn't show you, you know, KD's showing you right now. So I think this is, for me, I'd argue this might be one of his best seasons since his MVP season, and definitely post Achilles, right? We got to bring that up with Kevin Durant, because people forget how much of a killer he was pre-Achilles injury. Bro, he's been even better post-Achilles injury. So that just you won't see that again, really. That's very, very rare. So shout out to Kevin Durant. I think you did a good job of setting that up. You want to talk about the North, though, bro? Let's talk about the Raptors, because you know, we talked about Toronto in a little second, but let's go out to the North. Toronto has quietly put together a decent season. The Raptors now sit at 39-31, good for 5th in the Eastern Conference. This will be their best finish since the 2019-2020 season, when they finished 2nd in the East. Obviously had the 53-19 record. Kawhi Leonard raising the championship banner after just 1 year. Crazy stuff. During this 10-game stretch, however, the Raptors have gone 4-6. They've struggled a little bit and have showed some signs of slowing down. Their net rating over those games is essentially neutral at a plus 0.1, with an offensive rating of 116 points per 100 possessions and a defensive rating of 115.9 points. So they're giving up essentially the same amount that they're scoring. Their one highlight win during the stretch came against the Pistons, where they were able to beat one of the best teams in the NBA right now. The Raptors shot 44 of 91 from the floor in that game, which is good for 48%. And Brandon Ingram scored 34 points on 12 of 25 shooting. I want to bring up the Raptors boys for a second. They're also off the third team barely, too. You know, B.I. and Scotty Barnes have played extreme. Oh, bro, they've played so good. And Emmanuel Quickly has also played great as well. So did want to shout that out, right? Like, I think they didn't make our list this year, but they're right there.
We spoke
about them in the offseason files too, CJ. I don't know if you remember talking about this, but we said to be in the second apron, they have to have a decent season like this, or else it just doesn't make sense. So I'm glad that they're able to compete with a team like the Pistons, because it makes sense on the back end now a little bit more why you're spending so much money for your roster. Yeah, exactly. So B.I. scoring 34 on 12 of 25. They beat the Pistons 119-108 that day. Since that game on March 15th, the Raptors have gone just 1-2 and have taken really tough losses to the hands of the Nuggets and the Suns. The question now turns on Toronto. Will they be able to make noise in the playoffs? Because as of now, they would match up with the 4 seed, which happens to be the Cavs, sitting at 44-27. The Cavs, CJ, have also owned the Raptors in the playoffs, LeBronto era. They've gone 12. I think the Cavs are 12-2 versus the Raptors in every single playoff game they've played. So they've got above an 80% win percentage against Toronto right now. I don't think Toronto wants to see Cleveland even without LeBron. I feel like Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and of course, yes, sir, James Harden are going to make a big impact. But yeah, Toronto, I think, you know, we don't speak about the North much. Me and CJ aren't the biggest fans, but we do got to show you guys some love. You guys have put together a great season. Going to be top 7, top 6 in the East. The best season since Kawhi Leonard's championship run there. Yeah, Scotty Barnes, B.I., IQ. Wanted to shout out Murray Boyles, another great draft pick by them, who's been in and out of the lineup, but when he's playing, he looks great. Grady Dick as well, another player they haven't given up on, but he's a nice piece for them. I think the North, The North is in an interesting place right now. We're going to talk about them more in the offseason, which is where we can get, there's one episode for Toronto, right? So it's like we'll talk about the 2-3 things that are going on in the offseason, then we talk about the Toronto Raptors for 45 minutes. We'll talk about them whenever we get to that point. But for me, it's getting to the playoffs with this roster, because I think BI, Barnes, IQ, like all of those dudes in the playoffs you're gonna make some noise. There's no way you're gonna get swept.
Yeah.
So shout out the North, bro. I think me and you have similar takes on where they're at right now. We're glad the Raptors are competing with that second apron roster.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember that vividly, because I remember, obviously, off-season files, we go through everything. We go through the books. We go through, the contracts that are taking up a lot of space, the max contracts that, they've given up and whatnot. And I remember telling you that they have the potential to be a really good roster. It's just if they can figure out offensively who's going to be the main guy, who's going to be the one to kind of take a step back and be like the glue guy, which Scotty has been in. I think that's a perfect role for him. He's obviously the the third leading scorer on the team, but they have, their 4 guys that we talked about in the offseason files are all averaging almost 17 plus each. 16.9 for IQ. But they've all been available besides Barrett. He's only played 46 games. That too. Barrett, BI 68 games, Scotty 68 games, IQ 67 games. That's what you want to see from your top 3 of your top 4 players, being able to see that they've been available, they've been able to produce. I think offensively they know who is in the pecking order. I think BI is clearly their best scorer. He's going to be getting a lot of touches. But IQ, RJ Barrett, and even Scotty has moments to where he can, take over a game. But BI is the consistent, focal point, main initiator of an offense. But they've been incredible, bro. I think, like you said, prior to the last 3, they've only been able to get 1 dub the last 3 games. But I think it's just kind of just getting to that point where they're looking like a competent team. And I think, like you said, if the playoffs started at this moment, they would be going against the Cavs, and the Cavs have had their
They don't want to. I was going to say that. They don't want to.
They don't want to
do that.
They don't want to do that. So hopefully, they could get a little higher in the rankings or in the standings, or someone rises up or drop or whatever. This is where it gets to the weird part of the season where we're having those type of conversations now. Like, oh, would it be worth them, losing a couple games just to move down in the standings? But just what they've been able to do, bro, it's dope, because like you said, the offseason files really gives us an episode, a full hour and a half to 2 hours to really talk about a team and kind of deconstruct a roster and figure out what they can be. It seems like they kind of lived up to what we were, hoping for. And I think that's something that we were, like I said, hoping for, but we didn't expect them to, because we just didn't know what it would look like. Now we've kind of seen it. Like you said, Colin Murray Boyles is like essentially kind of like a Scotty, like a more raw version of Scotty. Scotty kind of is a little more polished on the offensive end and defensively really good. Murray Boyles is more defensive, trying to, get to that offensive, but they're just getting forwards that are long, athletic, can kind of score from, three levels. Yep. Yeah. And just, I'm excited, bro. Like you said, this is going to be probably the best team that they've had since them winning a championship. I know they're going to be pumped, bro. It's worth getting hype about.
Yeah, and the one offseason move I have for them, like as a spoiler, is like just get rid of Podol, because the center position for them is really what's going to kill them, bro. Like in the playoffs, they don't. Okay, so let's take the Cavs matchup. Like you said, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are going to torch you. They're going to embarrass your front court. Yeah. Regardless of what the guards can do, I think the forwards are awesome. You brought up BI, you spoke about Scotty, right? Like those dudes are great. Yeah. But after that, there's really no back line. You get to the cup, you're going to finish. You're going to finish, bro. So I think Toronto, Jakob Podolski takes up a lot of money on your books. Let's see if we can move him. I think that changes the future. And we'll talk about that later. But yeah, bro, we will see in the playoffs, bro. I'm excited for Toronto.
I'm excited for that, bro. They, like you said, good young team. are in the luxury tax, so they're all in. Like they gotta show us if the money that they're being paid, if they're worth it, because you are in the luxury tax, you are getting, not fined, but you're getting taxed for that, for them paying so many of their players. So
heavily,
it's interesting,
too,
very
taxed.
heavily. Yep. Yes, sir. Going into our last storyline of the week. We're going out into the Western Conference, bro. We come into the state of Texas, actually.
There you go.
We got the Dallas Mavericks, man. I don't think the Mavs got the memo. You know what I mean?
Not
the
this
Mavs
season.
The Mavs have been one of the NBA's biggest disappointments this season and are the only Texas team who seem not to get the memo. After getting the number 1 pick and with the Nico Harrison saga over, the plan was to at least compete for a playoff spot with their new look roster of Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving. Now fast forward to March 23rd, and the Mavs to trade away Anthony Davis to the Wizards, shut down Kyrie Irving due to an ACL injury, and not really added anything around Cooper Flagg to improve the roster. Even Cooper Flagg, by his standards, won't have a successful season to his standards if he can't bring home the Rookie of the Year during this lost season. Second in Rookie of the Year behind Con Canuple that we talked about a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Regardless, the Mavs have been the worst team in Texas by a wide margin this season. They sit at 23-48, which places them at 13th in the West, which would be the Mavs' worst finish since Luka Doncic was drafted. The Dallas Mavericks ranked 24th in the NBA in net rating this season, losing by an average margin of 5. The Mavs also ranked 27th in the entire NBA in offensive rating, only scoring 110 points per 100 possessions, which again would be their worst finish since Luka Doncic was drafted. Over their last 10 games, the Mavs are just 2-8 and look like they are tanking for a top lottery pick. ZD, can the Mavs revitalize their franchise after this lost season?
Yeah, well, does Darius the A-Cuff exist? Because I think that's their hope and dream, baby. I don't know if they're getting the top 3 this year. We'll see. Yeah. They got really lucky last year. To answer your question, I think to revitalize their franchise, they need to hit on this pick that they're going to get. Mm-hmm. They've been horrible this year. Let's keep it real. If Cooper Flagg doesn't win Rookie of the Year, it's a failed season, honestly. Yep. There's been nothing positive about it. Like, nobody got any awards. Nobody did anything. We're also last in the West, and we don't really know where we're going. That's where the Mavs are right now. Outside of Cooper Flagg, I'd argue they don't know where their roster – outside of Cooper Flagg and Irving, who, I'm interested to see, do you think he comes back and is just Kyrie? Because we haven't talked about him at all. But
yeah, we haven't talked about him this whole season.
Because if he does, it changes my opinion.
It changes a lot. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if he does, just because of the way that Kyrie plays. Obviously, an ACL injury is tough. It's tough to come back from. But I feel like ACL injury wasn't as bad as it was like a decade ago. I feel like the ACL injury of this decade is a calf injury. Or, you know what I mean? Like that type of deal.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to like, I'm going in circles around your question. I think Kyrie could still come back next year and not be as maybe getting as much points, but I think efficiency wise, he could still be the same, because I just don't think his game is really based off of his athleticism and, his getting to the rim. It's more so, savvy, finesse, get, up and unders. And when you have a player of the caliber as Cooper Flagg, I think it'll be even better for him, because he won't have to just be the main initiator or being the main focal point of offense. Now he can have someone. Yeah, he has someone that can, be a good defender on perimeter and at the rim. And he's kind of proven that he can, drop 30, drop 40 on teams. So I think yes, I think Kyrie can still be as good as we expect him to. I just don't know if he's going to be averaging statistically like the same numbers. But
50, 40, 90.
40, right. Yeah.
And that's why I asked the question, because that does change my outlook. Point being is they need a guard. I think Darius A-Cuff is available, Detroit native, probably the best player in the SEC this year, if I'm being honest. And he's probably the most NBA ready guard out of all of the top point guards.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it is a failure. It's more of a failure on Patrick Dumont, just not building the team properly, allowing Nico Harrison to trade away Luka. We're not going to talk about that at length, but obviously that's going to set your team back years and years and years. And we do have to be mindful. They don't have ownership of their draft 2027, 2028, 2029. Like they're going to be paying for having Luka. I think Brandon Williams, guys like, Ryan Nembhard, a couple other guys have had pretty good seasons compared to what was expected. But they need to do a lot of work around their roster to really revitalize this franchise. And Dirk Nowitzki said it best, man. It's a shame that the Mavericks won't be a competitive team for the next couple of years because, truthfully, they don't really have the roster. I think trading Anthony Davis signaled to the rest of the teams in the league that like Dallas is down at the bottom right now. Clearly, we knew that. But they were kind of fronting on it, like acting like they were okay with this fake big three and whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, they're not okay. So I think, if Cooper Flag can't win Rookie of the Year, if they can't draft a guard or at least get best available, if it's Nate Ament, whoever it is, just to pair him with Cooper Flag, I don't know, man. I don't know if they'll be able to revitalize their franchise over the next 3 to 5 years. And it begs the question after Cooper Flag's rookie deal is up, does he look elsewhere? Because he doesn't like to lose. He's been winning his entire life. And I don't know if he'll sign an extension with the Mavs if they can't prove to him that it's worth playing, like they're worth playing for, basically.
Yeah, that's the tough reality that they're probably going to have to deal with soon. Because like you said, they have this pick, which we talk very highly of this draft. This is probably one of the best draft classes we had in a very long time. But is this one pick going to be enough to, alter your franchise's timeline? You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. We'll see what that ends up looking like. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Because as a roster, as a whole, like, they're good. They can compete at certain times. But, is the progression, of Cooper Flag and all the the ragtag group of guys that they got, is that going to be enough for them coming into this next year for them to be competing for a play-in next year? I don't know. We'll see. But the fact that they do have this draft pick, they're going to have to hit on this. Like you said, this is going to be a huge offseason for them coming into this next year, and then obviously this draft. But I think it's going to be tough for them unless they get a free agency signing, which I mean is very, very possible for Dallas, but they're going to need something like that to happen for them to be able to be competing in these next couple of seasons. Because as of right now, they're, like you said, like we just said earlier, they're the worst team in Texas.
The three players they're building around is Irving, Flag, and Washington. As of now, those would be the three players in the offseason files. So that's not going to get it done. It's just not going to cut it, bro. It's not going to cut it. When we talking about Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves and LeBron and B.I. and Scotty and IQ and Jalen Williams and Chet and Shea and all, like, that's not going to get it done.
It's not going to cut it.
Trio than that. Yeah, it's not going to cut it, bro. So let's get into these game previews, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm salty, CJ. Honestly, do the Lakers one for me, man.
I got you, man. Yeah. I saw. I didn't see, but I saw the notey from Sleeper. So first tip off of the night, boys. We had the Lakers versus Pistons. 6 p.m. tip off. The Lakers have Smith Jr., Marcus Smart, Maxi Kleber, and Roy Hachimura as a game time decision. The Pistons listed Cade Cunningham, Marcus Sasser, and Isaiah Stewart as out. Some storylines for this game. This is the second matchup of the season between the Lakers and the Pistons. The Pistons defeated the Lakers on December 30th, 128-106, behind 27 points from Cade. The Lakers are 9-1 over the last 10 games and ranked 7th in the NBA in net rating with a plus 7.5. The Pistons are just 6-4 over their last 10, but ranked 6th in the NBA net rating over that span with a plus 8.9. Thoughts?
Yeah, and as CJ comments said, he December 30th, we took the loss. March 23rd, we took the loss. I'm gonna have to see, man. Do this review. No Cunningham. Dennis Jenkins must have had a hell of a game. To lose to the Pistons this way, this is a bad loss.
It's a bad loss,
especially being this hot.
Yep.
The Pistons got nobody in.
Yep.
We have all of our guys going, our big three. There's really no excuse to lose this game. This was a game that I was hoping we win. We're playing the Pacers. If we lose to them, that would honestly make this road trip a failure, in my opinion, because these are the games that we should easily win. Mm-hmm. So I'm disappointed because why?
Right.
It seems like an effort thing. I'll have to watch and see what happened, but damn it. Yeah, that's not good. I was talking highly of my team. Now we're 8-2 over the last 10, losing to the Pistons without Cade. We'll have to see. That next matchup versus the Pacers looks pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Let's go to where the Pacers are playing. They're playing in Orlando. This game was at 6 p.m. a couple hours ago now. Magic were at home. Pacers on the road. The Pacers are missing Zubac, who got ruled out for the season. Siakam, Nembhard, Toppin, and Nesmith were all listed as game time decisions. I'm sure they all didn't go. So that's a shame for the Pistons. But the Magic are missing Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, and Anthony Black for this game. Storylines for this game. This is the third matchup of the year between the Pacers and the Magic. The Magic are 2-0 in the season series. The Pacers ranked 29th in the NBA net rating over their last 5 games with a minus 14.2. And the Magic are 1-4 in their last 5 games and ranked 22nd in the NBA net rating with a minus 6.8. So you talked about Paolo. He's had a hell of a post All-Star, game, half of the season. He's looked great the second half of the year. But the Magic have struggled over the last 5 games. They've yet to really put it together yet during the season. They haven't had a stretch of the year where they were really humming, except I think at the beginning, like the first month of the season. Point is, this is an easy W for them. The Pacers have been worse. That minus 14.2 net rating speaks to where Indiana is right now. They're trying to get a pick. Obviously, Zubac got ruled out for the year. But I'm going with the Magic, man. I'm rolling with the Magic. I feel like whenever we check the box, I feel like Paolo will end up having a great game. Desmond Bane's been playing out of his mind. So, yeah, give me Orlando, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm rocking with Orlando too, bro. I think just Pacers, it should be an easy dub. They've been playing bad. Magic are home. Paolo, like you said, has been post All-Star game, has been performing very well. No Franz. I think that's I looked at the games played, right? Because I was curious, because I put Paolo in the conversation. He's only played 28 games this year. Does it feel like that?
Dude. And you're gonna be look at the box score of this game, bro. Just look.
Brother, what? That's crazy. Bro, for everyone, context, 128, 126, Indiana Pacers got a dub.
Oh my gosh, never mind. Scratch the Magic.
Yeah, scratch that, bro. Scratch that. Yeah. That's crazy. That's wild. Hey, Pascal 37.
Oh, okay. Hey, well, okay. That makes you
feel better. Paolo 39.
Okay. So he did his thing.
He did his thing.
Paolo's fault.
No, it wasn't Paolo's fault. It looks like it was
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wow.
It just looks like they were 44 points in the third quarter. That's for the Pacers. That's where it was.
Well, I think the Magic losing to the Pacers is that's the worst loss on the slate.
Worst loss, yeah. It's got to be.
Yeah, so
that's they're the worst team in the league, and they just got
not good.
Scratch everything we said, man. Like I said, I like the Magic a lot. It's been really hard to be rocking with y'all this whole season because of stuff like this.
For sure.
But heading into the next matchup, we got the Thunder versus the 76ers, man. This is the boys, you know what I'm saying? The 76ers,
my bad.
Oh, you're good.
Get the right injury report.
Got you. Let me look at it real quick. So the
because who was out? Probably Sorber, Topic.
Yeah. All the J-Dub's first game back. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Shout out to that. Where's the fuck, bro? I can't find the goddamn injury report.
The IR report.
Yeah. Where's it? Recap? Or what would it be?
I can find it while you're talking about the storylines.
Yeah, I got you. I'll say the storyline. some storylines for this matchup. This is the second time the Thunder have played the 76ers. The OKC defeated Philly on December 28th, 129 to 104 behind 29 points from Chet Holmgren. The Thunder are 14-1 over their last 15 games and rank first in the NBA in defensive rating over that span, allowing just 105.2 points per 100. The 76ers are 9-6 over their last 15 and ranked 20th in the NBA in net rating over that time with a minus 1.7.
Yep. I texted you the injury report too. I think AJ Mitchell.
AJ Mitchell was suspended. I just saw that because of
George. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got our roster back damn near. Besides AJ Mitchell, obviously
Embiid, that George Grimes.
Yeah, Embiid, George, Broom.
Yeah,
Grimes, Maxey, Kelly Oubre. Everyone. So we better. I mean, I already know Jared we got this dub, but I know we got this dub, so we don't gotta worry. But based off of the injury report alone, we should have got this dub. So handle business 123-103. Spoiler alert. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. Go into deeper analysis, but yeah, got a dub.
Yeah,
some light, none too crazy. J-Dub's return. We'll talk about that.
Did you make it? How did
Jared McCain 13 points off the bench. Jalen Williams 18 points off the bench.
Hey, bro, I gotta talk to you, bro, because you dropped AJ Mitchell.
I dropped AJ Mitchell because I was trying to get points from someone else on my team so I could try to win this game, and I didn't.
That's gonna cost you, man.
I know. I saw you picked him up.
That's gonna cost you. That's not somebody you drop.
Yeah, I dropped him because he got suspended or he got ejected, and I needed points. That's the only reason. Literally the only reason.
Yeah,
and I didn't pick him up.
You're going for it. So.
I didn't pick him up in time either. I could have, obviously, because it's been, but I just wasn't on top of it. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't even opened their sleeper app since yesterday. So.
Hey, I get it. I was the same way. That's why I was like. Man, I'll take AJ Mitchell.
Nah, for sure. For sure, bro. Nah, yeah, trust me, it wasn't easy, but I was in survive in advance type of mode. I was like, I had no other choice.
No, for sure. Like that's how I thought about it. I was like, he only did this because he was going for broke. Like, I get it. Like, you sacrificed the body.
Yeah,
to go
it sucks.
Broke. So
it sucks, but
I get it. But moving on, man. Spurs versus Heat. We had a bunch of games at 6, but this game was. I'm assuming the Spurs handled business, but the Spurs listed Castle, Devin Vassell, I think, as game time decisions. The Heat listed Hawkins, Powell, Wiggins as game time decisions as well. Over the last 3 games, the Spurs ranked 5th in the NBA net rating with a plus 15-point run and ranked 3rd in the NBA in offensive rating over that span, scoring 124 points a game. The Heat over the last 3 games are 0-3 and ranked 25th in the NBA net rating with a minus 12.4. This is the second time that the Spurs and Heat have played this season, with the Spurs defeating the Heat 107-101 in their first game. I got to rock with the Spurs, man. They've just been way, way better. Probably the best team over the last month outside of the Thunder. And they're the second best road team in the NBA. I think they're like 20-13 behind the Celtics. I think the Celtics have won 22 games on the road. Best road record in the NBA. The Spurs are the second best. So I'm going with the Spurs, man. At home or on the road, at this point, they're just too much of a stalwart to be dealing with.
Yeah, I'm rocking with the Spurs as well, bro. You said it, everything. The only thing that I have, against, of course, Stephon Castle gets injured right when I need him, huh? That's the only thing I'm gonna complain about. But besides that, they've been incredible. But Stephon Castle gets injured and it's a 0. I gotta get another person to try to get some points. But besides that, going into our next matchup, we have the Grizzlies versus Hawks. They tipped off at 6:30. The Grizzlies are missing John Morant and Cedric Coward. Cam Spencer is listed as a game time decision as well, and the Hawks have listed Jalen Johnson as out. There's some storylines for this matchup. This is the second matchup between the Grizzlies and the Hawks. On January 21st, the Grizzlies lost to the Hawks 122-124 behind 32 points from Jalen Johnson. Over their last 5 games, the Hawks ranked 7th in the NBA net rating with a plus 8.3, and the Grizzlies ranked 28th in the NBA in net rating with a minus 12.7. On the year, the Hawks are 39 and 32, and the Grizzlies are 24 and 26. Think I'm rocking with the Hawks in this one, bro. Obviously, Jalen Johnson's injured; he's out. But I think the Grizzlies, bro, it's been something out. Honestly, this is a pretty small injury report from them as what we've been usually seeing. But I just don't think they got enough, bro. I think the Hawks, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Nneka Okongwu, I think it's just gonna be a little bit too much from them. Obviously, they got Zach Edey now back, but I don't know. I think the Hawks obviously a better team over the last 5. Grizzlies one of the bottom third of the league, so I think I'm just rocking off of statistics off of what we know. But it's basketball, and we thought the Pacers were gonna lose to the Magic. So before we know it, the Grizzlies can
anything can happen.
Anything can happen, bro. It's Monday night basketball, you know.
Yeah, they're going into this next game, bro. We got Rockets and Bulls. The Bulls are at home. The Rockets are missing Steven Adams, Fred VanVleet. Obviously, they've been missing them for a minute. The Bulls have listed Ivy, Okoro, Simons, and Yabusele as game time decisions. Jalen Smith was also listed as a game time decision as well. This is the second matchup between the Rockets and the Bulls this season. The Rockets defeated the Bulls 119-113 on January 13th. Over the last 5 games, the Rockets rank 11th in offensive rating, scoring 116.8 points per 100 possessions. The Bulls over that same time frame rank 22nd in the NBA in defensive rating, allowing 120 points per 100 possessions. I got to rock with the Rockets, even though they've been fairly chilly. They haven't got a ton of quality wins. Obviously, took those 2 back-to-back losses to my team. They got that W against the Heat, which was good for them. Obviously, Kevin Durant passing MJ is a big deal. Reed Shepherd with the 14 assists. Şengün's back in the lineup now, too. I think they are a force to be reckoned with, especially on the offensive end. They are top 10 in offensive rating on the season. I'm going with the Rockets, man. I feel like, in United Center, guys are going to feel like, you see that Michael Jordan statue, you definitely, it'll tee you up for sure, bro, if you're a hooper. So I think KD is going to come with a 30-piece tonight. We'll have to see.
Oh yeah. I'm rocking with the Rockets as well. KD just passing MJ, and now he's going against MJ's team. I think it's like it is written, bro. Like it's like a storybook ending. So it's I think he handles business. Obviously, with Şengün in the lineup, it just opens up their offense a lot more, kind of gives them a hub. So it's not KD just being the main initiator and then doing what the Lakers did to them and causing havoc on that side of the ball. I think having that player to kind of take the main initiating roles, it's going to open up the offense. Them obviously being one of the best offensive teams all season long. I'm rocking with the Rockets, bro. Chicago, Giddey puts up numbers. Matas has been killing as well. I just don't know if they have enough to be able to keep up with the Rockets, Going into the next matchup, though, we have the Raptors versus Jazz. This was at 8 p.m. tip-off. The Raptors have listed Colin Murray-Boyles as a game-time decision, and the Jazz are missing Isaiah Collier, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George, and Yusuf Nurkic. Some storylines for this game. This is the second matchup between the Jazz and the Raptors on the season. The Raptors defeated the Jazz on February 1st, 107-100. Over their last 10 games, the Raptors ranked 17th in the NBA in net rating with a plus 0.6. And the Jazz ranked 23rd in the NBA in net rating with a minus 4.5. On the season, the Raptors are 39-31, 5th in the East. And the Jazz are 21-50, 14th in the West. We were talking highly of the Toronto Raptors earlier. I think I'm rocking with the Raptors, bro. I mean, the Jazz, laundry lists of injuries. They got accused of tanking.
Laundry list.
And it's been like that all season prior to them wanting to tank. So, I'm rocking with the Raptors, bro. Scotty, Bi, IQ, RJ. I think they're 4 guys that we were talking about in their offseason files. I think they're gonna ball out. Missing Keontae George, obviously. Lowry has been out for a while. Triple J hasn't played since he got to. I don't think, shout out to Elijah Harkless that got me a 50 spot on my
Oh,
dynasty
bro.
team. But I just
He was
don't think
awesome.
he was amazing. He was the only one that showed up last week. But yeah, I'm rocking with the Raptors, bro. I don't think the Jazz have enough to keep up with them. They've been obviously one of the worst teams in the league this year. And they've had so many injuries to where I just don't know if they could step up. But, we'll see.
No, and that's the thing about the Jazz. We saw them play well with Jaren Jackson Jr. in that lineup. And then Nurkic goes out, Jackson Jr. gets hurt.
Yeah.
Then you just don't know what you're gonna get from them, bro. So I'm going with the Raptors as well. This one was good. But the next game we got on our list, injury report for this one, I think it's Warriors versus Mavs. The Mavs are at home. The Warriors are on the road, but the Warriors are missing Seth Curry, Al Horford, and Quentin Post. I think the Mavs are missing. Is it Cody Martin or
Cody Martin? I think it's Cody.
Cody Martin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember which. The brothers both don't play anymore, so I'm sorry.
They haven't played in a minute.
Yeah, y'all just don't play enough for me to even remember now at this point. But Cody Martin, and then Brandon Williams is also listed as out for this game. Storylines for this matchup, though, over the last 10 games, bro, the Warriors and the Mavericks are now both bottom third in the NBA in overall net rating. The Mavs ranked 28th in the NBA in net rating with a minus 11.5, and the Warriors ranked 24th in the NBA in overall net rating with a minus 6.5. The Mavs have gone just 2-8 over their last 10 games, and the Warriors are also just 2-8 over that same span. This is the third matchup of the season between these two teams, with the season series tied 1-1. This one's a bit tougher for me. Cause I don't know, bro. I think I'm gonna go with the Mavericks just because Cooper Flag might put together a special. Yeah, they're at home. Yep. I don't know. This one's more of a toss-up because no Curry, no Butler, obviously. I left him off the injury report. I don't want it to get tedious, but yeah, I mean the Warriors just don't really have any bodies, and neither do the Mavs. I don't know. I think I just take the over. Just take the over.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, like you said, it really is a toss-up. Both a whole bunch of injuries, haven't really been performing well over their last 5 to 10 games. I think I'm rocking with Cooper Flag and the Mavericks. That's kind of who I'm leaning towards.
Me too.
He's been doing great. Klay Thompson is kind of giving him a little bit of more juice over the last couple of weeks as well. Najee Marshall has been doing pretty good. But yeah, it's not really much. Like you said, these teams aren't. These teams aren't the greatest. And why is this the nationally televised game? Why is this on Peacock? Why do the Warriors and Mavericks always get these prime time slot games?
No clue. I was wondering that too. I'm like, why are they the 8:30?
Didn't they go against each other on
Peacock?
Christmas?
They already did on Christmas. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was like,
bro. That's what I'm like, bro. Yeah, the scheduling at the end of the year has been interesting. They have had a couple really good scheduling flex days where Prime gets it and Peacock and ESPN. They've done a good job this year, but yeah, this today is not good.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Why is this the nationally televised game? But that's besides the point. That was just a little side tangent because I feel like I always see them playing on the prime time slot for some reason. Strange, and they don't even. Obviously, you probably think that they have Curry, but why are the Mavericks having that? I don't know. That's besides the point. We have the next matchup. This is the 9 p.m. tip-off. The Nets versus Trailblazers. The Nets are missing Yegor Denim and Michael Porter Jr. Clowney, Danny Wolf, and Nick Claxton are listed as a game-time decision. And the Trailblazers are missing Shaedon Sharpe and Damian Lillard. Jeremy Grant and Vic Krejci are listed as a Vic Krejci are listed as a game time decision as well. Some storylines for this game: Portland leads the season series 1-0, defeating Brooklyn 114-95 in their first meeting on March 16th. In that game, Portland was led by Denny Advia's 18 points and Donovan Klingen's 11 rebounds. Over their last 3 games, the Trailblazers are 2-1, and the Nets are 0-3. both Portland and Brooklyn have a negative net rating over that span. Nets 24th with a minus 12.2, and Portland 18th with a minus 2.1. Man, I think I'm rocking with the Trailblazers, bro. Klingon has been playing phenomenal over the past week. Oh awesome. Man, he was the one person that showed up for me last week. Klingon, Denny's kind of getting back into the groove of things, but the only thing, bro, that I'll say about the Trailblazers, man, just let Klingon play, bro. Like, I feel like they just like are limiting his minutes. Bro. I don't know if it's an injury that we don't know about or what it is, but he'll dominate a first half. Get 22 rebounds, 22 points, 11 rebounds in a half, and then he'll play like 7 minutes to end the game.
So CJ, I'm glad you brought this up. So, okay, we haven't talked about this in a long time. We will during the offseason files, but, Chauncey Billups and Rozier are still, obviously, they have not been found guilty. The reason I bring up Chauncey Billups is he talked very highly of Donovan Klingon. It was before they drafted Jan Hansen.
Yeah.
But he said that he was going to play Klingon until the cows come home, and that just hasn't been the case. It doesn't make any sense because he should be. Now he's actually good. He was way better than he was last year. It didn't make sense to play him 40 minutes last year.
Yeah.
I'd argue it makes way more sense to play him 40 minutes now. Donovan Klingon is one of the – if you look at his per 36 stats, so meaning he gets 36 minutes a night, he's putting up a 24-point double-double with 13 rebounds and 4 blocks. His per 36 is 24, 12, and 4.
Tangent. Sorry, we talk about where do you rank him right now in centers? Is he
that's a good question, bro. You want to go through it, I guess?
Yeah, we can go through it real quick.
One,
of course.
Gobert, I'd say Mobley's not a center, right? But Allen
Allen is Chet is also a power forward.
Chet is also
Chet
is a power forward. That's another.
Mobley.
I would probably go. Yeah, Mobley. Yoke. Let's see who my 3 is right now. Yoke.
Is it? I guess just based off of this season, or are we talking is Joel Embiid in that? Joel Embiid?
Yeah, Embiid's definitely there. He would probably be second on the list, but he's just not healthy. But yes, right. Embiid, Gobert, Cat, Jokic.
Yeah. Klingon might be up there. Top 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look. Yeah. I'm trying to go through all the teams, right? There's
not a lot of viable centers.
Zach Edey, Donovan Klingon. Who are you taking?
Yeah, Klingon. Edey can't shoot.
Aneka Okongwu or Klingon?
That one's closer. Probably Okongwu.
Right.
Because he can shoot.
Obviously, Walker Kessler's been injured. Jakob Poeltl, you're probably taking Klingon, of course. Klingon. I guess Ihart. Are you taking Ihart or Klingon?
Probably Klingon.
Right. That's obviously you said Wemby already, right? I'm assuming you said Wemby.
I did not say Wemby.
Wemby.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
For sure, Wemby.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Khalil
still
Ware?
Not even 6 centers though. Oh, okay, yeah. Khalil Ware's probably 10.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I think Klingon's been a top 8 center this season. Ayton's not a top 10 center.
Duren
is definitely a top 10 center.
Yeah, I was honestly, it's kind of thin, but I think he is probably a top 10 center right now, Donovan Klingon, at this point of the season.
I'd have to agree with you, sir.
I just don't think he gets enough run, sadly, for my dynasty team and for himself. But you know what I mean? He's getting 20 minutes a game, bro. He's a big.
I would hope. My goal with that, or we will talk about it. Portland, are they at the back half of the offseason files? I think they are. Right?
P.
So P. But okay, so Young Hansen and Klingon. My hope is that they play Young at the 4, they play him at the 5, and then they just don't draft bigs again because they don't need it. I think Time Lord is another person we haven't spoken about. He's awesome, bro. He should play 15 minutes. He doesn't need to play 40 minutes. He's going to get hurt. But anytime he's in the game, he's been awesome. He also can't shoot, right? You want to play your shooters. Klingon can hit the 3 ball in the corner. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I don't like his minutes per game right now. He's a way better player than he gets credit for. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. That's a good exercise. But last game of the night, Bucks versus Clippers. Clippers are at home. This one's at 9 p.m. Bucks are on the road. The Bucks are missing Kevin Porter Jr. and Giannis. Kuzma and Gary Harris were listed as a game time decision, so hopefully they ended up going. The Clippers are missing Mathurin, Niederhauser, Beal, Collins, and Beal, Collins, and Leonard were listed as game time decisions. Hopefully they ended up going. This is the first matchup between the Bucks and the Clippers this year. Over the last 15 games, the Clippers are just 8-7, while the Bucks are 5-10 on the season. The Bucks are 29-41, and the Clippers are 35-36. Clippers are fighting for a play-in spot, and the Bucks are 10 games back of a play-in spot. I'm going with the Clips. They've just had a better last month of the year. I think this game we can kind of quick put a bow on it. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing with the Bucks is they got to figure out what they're going to do with Giannis. They waived Cam Thomas while we were on this podcast. They just got a lot of different things that they got to do, man. I thought he was going to play in this game. He's not. He's no longer on the roster. The Bucks just seem like they're in no man's land, which sucks. You know, they got Gary Harris and Kuzma, all these players that
Ryan
are like
Rollins.
half in, half out. Yeah, Ryan Rollins, right? We just
KPJ.
Really don't know what we're going to get from them. KPJ. But Darius Garland, 41-point performance recently, his best performance over the last 2 years. Wanted to shout him out. I said it when he got traded. I was like, I think the Clippers got a win here. He's just a much younger version of James Harden, basically. So I think the Clippers are happy that they got him. And I gotta rock with the other boys in LA. I just feel like they've had a decent run on the last month.
Yep. No, I agree with you, bro. Just seeing what the Clippers have been able to do, turn around their season. I mean, we talked about it a lot, but it's worth talking about. You know, they were 15 games under 500, I believe, and then they end up, are barely over 500. But I think that alone, the turnaround from what they were at the beginning of the year until now, it just goes to show the type of team that they got. And like you said, bro, Darius Garland, that 41 that he just dropped, incredible. He was cooking. I was actually watching that game, and he was cooking them boys, bro. So, and Kawhi, we talked so highly of him this year, what he's been able to do. And it's kind of hard to really bet against them at this point. I'm not gonna lie, they've just been on fire. But I feel like anytime I say that they're gonna win, they end up losing. So we'll see, bro. Yeah. But
they're like playing 500 basketball, so it's like okay, right? Yeah. But it's way better than the Bucks. Way better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, brother. This one was fire.
Yeah.
Not really, bro. I think second team All NBA will be interesting because we'll have to decipher that. But talking about the 65 game limit, hopefully whenever you chop up this pod, it's not too hard to get around the glitches. It seemed like it ended up working for us.
It ended up smoothing out for the last hour.
It smoothed out for the last hour, which is good. Just thankful for the listeners, the watchers, the viewers. Obviously appreciate you guys trying to get the shorts out a little bit more, but y'all have been supporting those. So thank you. Getting a lot of subs from those. Watch the full pods, man. If you got a chance, you could chop it up, but take 10, 15 minutes, listen to a segment, come back to it. Just help us out, get our watch time up, man. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Well, if y'all liked and enjoyed this episode of 3-Man Weave, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.
3-Man.
3-Man.